The cam flickers on, cueing the cringe intro as Barank Hunter. YouTuber Kang Dokkel hits up his subs on Any Raid the Spot, where he usually flexes raid, clears, dude flashes a fake grin. Today's mob, C plus Arach. He points a finger at the creepy crawly cluster and explains Arachnus move like anthills. Basic arthropod facts, you know? Then he does this dramatic E-close pose, claiming they don't vibe like earth spiders. Usually, they spit webs first. No rushing. That take aged like milk, 'cause the spider bum rushed him. One nearly turned him into a kebab with its stinger. Dokkel blocks, screaming the take is trash and needs editing later. The dude behind the lens, our MC Mung say woo filming, editing, the works watched in total shock. No way Arachnus act like this in any universe, right? Their whole meta is trapping foes with sticky webs and poisoning helpless noobs, not sprinting like maniacs. Dude grins, annoyed, and charges in, promising a chat later. He slices one spider, followed by another, then another, jumps, cuts the next one cleanly in. Hef lands on the bug pile. Heck, you said they spit webs. What gives? CU's face is dripping. Sweaterakins only rush if they're desperate survival mode off. Decently grabs CU's shirt. You gonna keep playing innocent? Gut punches him. Yells out a sorry. Won't fix near-death vibes. He leaves Sayu on the dirt, walking off. Traitless guys like you. Useless. That stings. Sayu narrows his eyes, recalling his awakening. Zero special. Trace. Totally worthless for hunting, forcing him to survive by nerdy monster analysis and teaching weak points. Du shuts his eyes. Almost died. Cause of this loser, squads survived thanks to my but mid-sentence, everyone freezes and points behind him. Massive mob spawns right at his back. Beast lunges. Dokkel dodges instantly. Squad breaks into a panic sprint. It's a huge elite, super fast. Runnin' Dokkel drops his blade, realizes he needs bait to bail. Glances at Sayu, kicks him right in the face. Sayu screams. Dokkel turns. Since. You gave bad intel. Deal with it. Leaving floored, teeth, eyes pop in. Horror giant monster right there. His body refuses to budge. Monster roars. Jaws wide. Siu's mind instantly drifts to the hospital. Mom in bed, reaching out. Protect your sis. And that memory hit him hard. Reality slapped him hard. Nope. Definitely not checking out today. Hands shaking. He just gripped the sword. Gotta survive. For his monster incoming, he swung the katana, screaming like a total maniac. Out of nowhere, a huge boom blasted him off his feet. Glancing over, he spotted a blonde dude in a red cloak flexing a wild aura. Guy wipes, sweat like a pro. Just as another blast rocks the place. Blondie looks back at a tated-up bro, glowing purple, who yells he'll catch him, then launches himself forward. Gray-haired fighter powers up a punch, shouting, "Quit running, coward!" Red cloak swings, and the clash was so insane. Sayu just stared, wondering who these weirdos were. Then a massive kaboom rattled everything. He shielded his face, trying to process the madness. Both fighters flew back. He gaped at them, realizing these freaks were way scarier than any dungeon boss. They blurred into motion. Red cloak strikes, shockwaves, going everywhere. The baddie smirked, slamming Red into a rock. The blast toasted everything. Blonde dude wiped his face, muttering, "We ain't done yet, pal." He aimed a hand, charging up. The villain did the same. Both fired giant blasts. Light flooded the cave. "We're both going down," the villain screamed. But Blondie just grinned, like I care. He turned to Sayu, left this option open. Then he actually apologized. "For the drama," the villain sneered. "You're all toast." Energy spiked, boom, then another boom. Ground shaking. The blonde kept smiling while the villain shrieked. Sayu barely stayed upright against the force. Right then, the blonde said he'd leave a gift. A shield popped up, saving Sayu just in time. Total darkness, except for a faint glow coming from a small fire. Sayu stood there, totally baffled. What the heck? He looked around, dazed, then stepped back. Crunch. He looked down. A working smartphone lay there, like someone just tossed it. He grabbed it. Why is there a phone in a monster cave? Ding. Notification. New manager confirmed. It ought. Manager transfer complete. The system flashed. A weird aura suddenly wrapped around Sayu, making his eyes light up. A GodTube logo popped up, welcoming him to a gig he didn't apply for. Meanwhile, outside the cave, the exhausted crew soaked up the sun, gasping for air. Dokkel panted, muttering about his insane luck surviving an elite mob and a lame seep. His squad cheered him, claiming he saved their skins, and hyping the idea of using CU as bait. Total Galaxy. Brain move. Dokkel grinned, claiming he planned it all. That ego shattered instantly when Sayu popped up behind him, fist seconds from smashing his face. Though Blocked it last second. He slapped SIU back, reminding the scrub he's an F. Blood dripped from CU's lip. Dockle sneered, saying he should be grateful since hiring a new editor is a drag. CU glared up at him, asking if he really expected him to work for a guy who tried to off him. Dockle elbowed him again, mocking how CU begged for cash for his sis, claiming he was just being generous. So, CU owed him big time. CU swatted him off, showing the can. Got you ditching me in 4K? Viral gold right here. Dockle closed his eyes, threatening to end him right there. CU narrowed his eyes back, pointing out, that means prison and kissing his precious. Channel goodbye. The hunter saw, read grueling a warning. Leaked dad vid, and his sister is toast. Spitting the threat, he stormed off to find a new editor. CU scowled, muttering Dockle had no clue what was coming if he touched his sister. Later, CU chilled in his room, checking the weird phone. He tapped around, wondering how an app like this exists where literally anything goes. Scrolling through, he saw the channels. Ruling the feed were Hunnis Knights battling. Lucifer, Thor versus the World Serpent, gods vlogging like regular dude. He stared, trying to process. If these were real gods, and remembered the red cloak guy. Why give him this phone? He put it down, brain fried, and rested his chin on his hand, imagining gods chasing clout like YouTubers. He smirked, figuring, gods probably spawn with 1 million subs. Picking it back up, he decided to mess around with it. He clicked a Chinese sage's channel, and the system said, watching a lecture grants an S+ trait. CU's brows shot up in shock. He just subbed to Juge Liang, the Three Kingdoms legend, and immediately, the system chimed. Congrats on the S+ insight. Sweat dripped down his face. S+ stats were basically myths, not real things. Reminded him of the 13 heroes who fought the Demon Lord. People said they were built different. He stared at his phone. Did he seriously just get that kind of cheat code just by subbing? He checked his hand. No glowing effects, 0 feels. He rubbed his chin, guessed a perk, buffed his brain, not his muscles. Hard to tell right now. Then he scrolled to a channel run by Hercules, giving free gym hacks on how to wreck Zeus's entire crib. CU smashed subscribe. Maybe he'd feel the buff this time. System pinged. You unlocked SS rank superhuman strength. CU barely tapped the desk. And smash. Laptop obliterated. He stared, speechless. He actually got an SS trait. He crossed his arms. Totally shook. SS rank just for hitting a button. He grabbed his hair and screamed, what is even happening with GodTube right now? System alert. Insight level. Bumped up from all the over 0.1%. He eyed the screen. Does he need 100% to max it out? He tapped the Hercules vid and watched the crowd freak out as the dude ripped a stone pillar right out of the dirt, squatting it while yelling light. Wait, as the ground cracked, Hercules pressed the pillar overhead and roared like a beast. CU's jaw hit the floor. He mashed unsubscribe fast. Okay, I get why he has 1 sub. I am never doing that crazy stuff. System error. Unsubscribed. Hercules pointed through the screen. Come over, whenever. Bro. He couldn't leave. CU laughed nervously. Why is this app glitching on the Suddenly, his phone buzzed, and Dockle's name popped up. CU glared. Why is that snake calling now? Dockle lounged in his chair, talking. Chill thought I was blocked. CU iced him. What do you want? Dockle smirked. I know. You're out of options, man. CU listened as Dockle pitched some business. Don't be so salty. We're old pals. CU snapped. Quit yapping and get to the point. Dockle leaned back. SH Group wants a collab stream. I'm inviting you. CU froze, picturing their massive skyscraper. Shuas Korea's top corp. The chairman's granddaughter just awakened too. SC looked down. Guess they're jumping into the monster hunting game. Dockle added, we're expanding big time and want to. He begged to try new stuff, but CU shut him down instantly. His eyes popped when Doel offered 5,000 for the clip. He asked again, but CU just smirked and gave him a hard no. Dusil started sweating buck, claiming it was 10 times the norm and a total win-win. He asked CU's price. CU grinned and demanded 50,000, making Dusil flip out, screaming he wasn't worth it and asking how he knew about SH. CU just kept smiling, knowing his insights skills showed why SH picked him over buff dude. Dusil got spooked. CU said the boss's granddaughter woke up to his traits and needed to learn the basics first. He noted that solid hunting skills are the foundation for everything, citing their channel's growth past 200,000. He proved it was CU's unique strats that got them views. Tapping his temple, CU said the offer was for his brain, not Dusil's brawn. So, Dusil win that 50 million was steep, but CU's eyes. Why didn't you stiffing me? Dusil grinned nervously, but CU tossed the phone. Fine, Dusil can handle it solo or go find some other sucker. Next day, they were chilling in a B rank dungeon, and CU asked when the rest of his cash was dropping. While Duchil, glued to his phone, said he'd paid, they turned to Sharon, the boss's granddaughter, strutted up, announcing she was ready to crash. Their party Sayu blinked. She was crazy gorgeous. Thinking she was way out of his league. Going deeper, Sayu focused on finishing the job and securing the bag. But they froze when they spotted a huge monster glowing with purple aura. Sharon stepped up, calling it a black troll. Duchil parroted Sayu's info about their insane regeneration and how newbies die without the strut. He visualized the attack pattern and recited the basic strut: shred the black troll's body, smash the heart, and decapitate it fast. Before he finished yapping, Sharon went for her blade, sprinting and leaping into the air like a pro, plunging her sword into the monster's heart, ripping it out and blasting its head off. She spun around. Too easy, she told the stunned boys. Ducil cheered. Amazed, she nailed the technique. With 0 EXP, hyping her as an S-rank prodigy. Sharon flicked blood off her blade. While Sayu eyed the black, Sayu peeped the shine, asking the price since he heard rumors about that Aurelian blade. Sharon casually dropped 20 billion like it was change, leaving both dudes. She jabbed a thumb at the tunnel, telling him to hustle, cause quitting after one black troll is totally lame. An hour passed, still grinding, with monster juice pooling under Sharon's boots. Like she said, she was finally getting the hang of this mess. She spun around, claiming they wiped every troll, so time to bail. Dole bowed, hyping her skills, though internally, he was totally freaking out cause he blew his big shot to dazzle the Hunters Guild. He did squat and felt Sayu basically scammed him out of 50,000. Sayu caught Dole's panic sweat and cracked a little smirk. Smirk died fast when a wild roar shook the place, and something huge rolled up. Sharon gazed up, trying to spot what made that racket. Dole played expert, claiming the size meant it was surely an elite beast, but Sayu's gut told him this wasn't just some basic elite when a colossal red-eyed troll crashed down. Dungeon boss, alert. The beast raised a fist to squish and Sharon prepped to fight while parrying the hit as Dole froze, jaw dropped, and the squad bolted in panic. The monster grinned, watching the chaos, then tossed Sharon back. She slammed down before it chucked rocks, nailing 2 runners. Dole wheezed terror, taking over as he sprinted, thinking gotta run or I'm toast. But a giant shadow swallowed him as the boss towered. Right overhead, he whispered, "Rip me." But Sharon blocked the smash just in time, though the beast still pounded the earth hard, enough to yeet her into a wall as it wound up for round 2. Sharon's eyes popped open dodge mode. She sprinted up the monster's arm, slipping the punch to land on its neck, slashing wildly. But the boss spun around, 0 scratches, leaving her totally shook. The troll threw a lightning jab, and Sharon jerked back several times, leaping as dust blew up. She barely held off the insane pressure. Sayu looked up and realized it was hopeless, even though Sharon rocked 2 S-rank traits. She was a total noob facing a boss with tons of X. The troll cackled while dropping a combo, and Sayu watched, thinking his only play was stitching Sharon to run, cause staying meant game over. Shaking, he remembered his S's strength from God 2, wondered if he should flex it, but then saw Dole zoom past him, looking terrified. Sayu stared, disappointed and stunned, as the guy Meanwhile, Sharon kept blocking the trolls non-stop. Hits with pure grit. Sweat rolled down Sayu's cheek. They couldn't win this, frozen in absolute terror while thinking, escape or die. He dashed sideways, choosing to bail. He spun back, fear spiking so hard he screamed it, basically inviting the beast to come get him. He stared ahead. Face tight. Cash and clout mean zip if he's dead meat. And the boss roared, winding up a mega. Sharon gritted her teeth. Sayu made a fist, charging it with blue vibes. Can't bail or I'm a loser. Like Dockle, he thought. He socked the monster's arm, so hard it flew back. Boss got mad. Sharon was shook. How'd Sayu block that crazy hit? She eyed his glowing back. A blue ghost warrior floated behind him, totally a stand. Sayu ducked his face, breathing deep as energy surged in his hand. Monster smashed the ceiling, then swung another heavy hit, but Sayu blocked with his new op stats. The clash blasted a shockwave everywhere. Monster snarled, teeth out. Sayu held firm, yelling that they gotta move. Sharon heard, jumped high, and swung her sword right on beat. The beast dropped its jaw as she stomped its chest and stabbed deep. Before hopping up and spinning wildly, in meter she hit its shoulder, ran to the neck, and cut the head right off. She landed as the giant body crashed down. They stared at the dead mob while Sayu chilled, relieved, then ping. System says his insight leveled up. Blood gushed from its neck. Sayu recalled bosses usually have double forms. This morph was totally standard for this creep. The severed head started growing back with gross cracking sounds. Suddenly, it grabbed Sharon. She screamed, trying to wiggle free. Sayu watched, thinking if she here, he couldn't save her. 0 chance. The monster blinked, totally shocked by what happened next. See you pried, the fingers open. Sharon squirmed, one eye shut, yelling, wrong. See you held on, shouting, aim for the heart. She pushed the giant fingers, slipped out, and flopped on the ground. She looked up, fierce. Got it, she said, grabbing her sword and rushing the monster. Full send. See you held the fingers, eyes glowing. Trust me, hit it. The monster snapped its head at her steps. It tried to move, but its hand was stuck. It looked over and saw holding tight. Sayu grabbed on and grinned, huge at the monster's confused face. The beast roared, Ma why. Sharon charged, sword raised, slicing its arm like butter super trailing blue light as she leaped to stab heart number 1. Siyu's eyes bugged out. Yo, it's got 2 hearts, he yelled. Sharon gasped. Totally didn't know that part. She backflipped, dodging the Sayu figured her wild instincts would have saved her anyway. Eyes shining like stars, she locked in and lunged, swinging her blade, mouth set, and bam hit the second heart perfectly. The monster let out a gnarly scream. Blue energy wrapped Siyu's leg. He dashed in, fist glowing, shouting, just die already. He jumped up at the beast as Sharon landed. In its last sec, the monster saw Siyu's fist before its skull went boom. Blue lightning flared in Siyu's eyes, hand-bloody blue trail burning behind him. He stumbled a few steps, then collapsed right in front of Sharon. She stared. Who is this guy? Later, Sayu blinked away. In a totally new room with a TV and stuff, sitting up, he instantly spotted a girl there. Sharon was sitting right next to him. Realizing she visited made him blush hard. Why was she even here? Sharon pointed, Don saying she brought him here because he was totally wrecked. She leaned in, legs crossed, asking how he felt. It just made him tense up. She was way too close for his poor heart to handle. Sweat dripped as she scooted closer. The room felt tiny and super awkward. She touched his forehead. Cue major panic. For a sec, they just stared. Eye to eye, heard Hun lingering with sparkly curiosity. Head tilted, she said. He seemed to have a fever. He scooted back, smiling shakily, practically steaming. Then she asked his name since they never officially met. Face red. He wondered how she didn't know. Didn't she see his hospital chart? Sharon looked away, shy. Wanted to hear it from you? Sayu tilted his head, surprised. Like she totally read his mind. Her S-rank vibes probably picked up on stuff without words. She faced him again, saying he was probably still out of it, but she had a proposal. Siyu leaned in, dying to know the deets on this mystery offer. Han's primly on her knees. She popped the question. Wanna join the squad? Sayu locked eyes, thinking, does she just want me cause I wrecked that ogre? Time basically paused when she casually dropped the salary. 1 billion a year. Bro shut up, jaw unhinged, hand twitching, plus a 50-50 loot split. Why? But the hype died. When Sharon brought up his assist and that nasty blood, Bug said the team would cover the med bills so he wouldn't have to carry the weight. Mood killed. He looked down, totally silent. Finally looked up like, yo, what did I do to earn a VIP pass like that? Sharon leaned in, looking boss. She wants him for his brain. Specifically, to cook up needs a genius to map out every boss fight from here on out. Night finally hit. Outside, the ward went dead quiet while Sayu chilled on his pillow. Staring at the roof. Was he a total dummy for saying no? The scene replayed in his head. Him sitting there, telling Sharon nah and why. She just took it like a champ, surprised but cool with it. Said she got it, told him the door's open if he flips. She still owes him big for the save. Planned to clear the debt by paying the sister's hospital tab. But Siyu's brain was racing. Before signing anything, you gotta test this GodTube thing. It belongs to literal deities who treat S-rank pros like NPCs without even trying. He turned to look at his KID sister, snoozing away. Can't lock himself into a bad contract yet? Her future rides on something way more. Sketchy lay there still, reminding him of that day she got caught in a dungeon break. Rare blood curse. Docs can't fix it. Just slow it down. His head spun with pics of heavy textbooks, weird ingredients, blue gems, and monster skulls on fancy cloth. All crazy expensive, but needed for a real cure. Popped the laptop, muttering, he needs mad cash. Meanwhile, gotta grind out the edit for today's vid. On screen, Dokel's just lagging, while Sharon's soul is the beast. Sayu blinked. Didn't she say her sword cost 20 billion? Rubbed his chin, plotting he could craft gear and sell it. Imagined a movie montage of him smithing god-tier blades, raking in billions fast. Picked up his phone and made a sour face. Only one free sub left, another costs 1 million won. Rip off. He stared at the GodTube profile where Hephaestus held a giant hammer. Realized subbing to the smithing god is the only cheat code for crafting epic weapons. He smashed that subscribe button like a boss, then froze, staring at his phone. pure shock as a pop-up screamed he'd snagged double S-class metallurgy skills. Inside the god's messy forge, huge stacks of loot and metal junk filled the back, and the big guy slammed a hammer onto Mjolnir, screaming at the top of his lungs, with wild eyes that upgrading gear needs mad guts and zero fear of total failure. Sayu cringed as he roared that kids today are wimps who can't handle broken gear. A bunch of alerts popped up, his trash knowledge got fixed, and his god-tier smithing level jumped up. The next morning, the vibe switched to a chill street where a tiny playground, baked in the sun, and Siu was hanging off a pull-up bar with one hand yanked in his whole body up like it was nothing. Total beast mode. 2 nurses walked by, jaws dropped, and started whispering about his crazy gains, saying, "Doc said his recovery is insane, like speedrun, fast. Even for a hunter, he's out tomorrow." Siu looked away, playing cool, but he totally heard it all. It was weird leaving this early. He thought he'd be grinding for weeks before they actually kicked him loose. Drip in sweat, he watched status screens flash, skills leveling up. He pictured his muscles, fibers tearing, spamming super strength would wreck his arms again. Gotta grind daily to stop that from happening. Then his lil sis popped up behind him and called out softly, leaning in with her hands behind her back, saying, "She heard he's free tomorrow." He laughed awkwardly. "Yeah, true." She clutched her heart, eyes shut tight, saying she was low-key panicked when he arrived, looking totally wrecked. Then she opened her eyes, looking kinda sad, and glancing away. Still looking away, she mumbled, "Doc said Mansa, but he's dipping in 1 week." And Sayu smiled with eyes closed. Betting she was salty, he got out first. He stepped up, patted her head, and told her not to slack off just 'cause he's gone. Also, told her to chill about the bills. She nodded, and said she knew it was free, thanks to Sayu, cringe-faced, hard hearing that name with a weird vibe. Sis beamed. "She wants me to call her sis, since she's lonely." Sayu looked down and asked, "When that happened, did she even meet Sharon in the hospital?" He scratched his head. Sis said she drops by and spies on his training sometimes. He blinked, arms crossed. He'd never seen her once. Sis added. Sharon asked about him, blushing and hiding a grin. Sayu wondered why a superstar hunter like Sharon stopping by. He figured she was just headhunting, but Sis teased that she was actually crushing hard. He turned beet red, grinning weird and yelling, "No way." She swore he was secretly famous since all the nurses couldn't stop gossiping about him. He looked away, totally cringe, telling her to zip it and scoot back to the docks. He had big moves to make. He fist-bumped the air, hyped up, chin high, shouting, "Time to secure that bag." Later, Sayu crept into the dungeon, peeking around with a shaky breath, probably freaking out because he was riding solo for the first time. He squeezed his fists tight. "Chill, dude," he muttered. But then snap movement nearby. The baddies were definitely crashing the party. A mob popped up, chucking stuff at him. He bolted like a track star, smirking a bit though, because he knew these creeps traveled in packs. But dang, that was a whole army invited. Goblins rushed him, weapons high. He dodged a swing and threw a haymaker. One punch turned that dude to dust. He blinked, totally shook. That dude popped like a balloon. Meanwhile, the rest froze up. He walked up slow, head down, looking crazy, scary, grinning. "Come get some," he dared him. Cut 2. Smithy floor piled high with monster loot. See you wondering what epic gear the boss could craft from this junk. The smithy dude yelled, totally losing it. "Like I asked for mats, not garbage. What is this?" Old man Pagwang scowled, but said he'd teach him to smelt anyway. "Move it." Swinging hard, the boss yelled that he better focus up. "It ain't just muscle, kid." And he flashed back to his 20-year grind. He hit the steel, explaining that crafting god-tier gear is basically impossible. Sayu gaped as Pwang tossed him the mallet. "Show's over. You're up." Arms crossed, Paliwang watched and recalled how Sayu'd never begged for loot, or asked to be an intern, or joined a guild for free rent. He just wanted to rent the garage. Boss said yes, just for kicks. Grimacing, the smith knew he only needed one glance at the kid's grip to spot the talent. Watching Cu swing, he pondered how kids today treat smithing like a video game, even though it took him 20 years to master. Worse, Caillou was glued to his screen like a few YouTube clips made the whole thing a cakewalk. Pwang thought, this kid's tripping. Bam! The door flies open, and this girl struts in, grinning, huge, screaming, "Guess who's here?" The old master in the chair goes, "Is that you?" Soon, she laughs. "Duh! Who else braves this funk? Smells like old gym socks in here." Pwang rolls his eyes. "You know, you could just send a minion, right? Why drag yourself here every time?" Hand on hip, total sass mode. "'Cause you're the GOAT blacksmith in Korea. Obviously," he chuckles. "Smooth talker, you're a real shark, aren't ya?" Soon grins. "Hey, Rep a brand that only touches the elite stuff. She digs in her bag. Got your fancy ingredients. Now, let's talk cash. Phuong nods. Blades over there. Wrap tight. Watch your fingers. It bites. She looks up, chatting about some new gig. She's all hyped. We're supplying the SH group. Huge right. But ooga, that banging is wrecking my vibe. She glares at CU and yells up it. Hammer boy. Adults talking. Arms crossed. Squinting at his junk. She grabs the blade. Snorts. Call this a weapon. The master snaps. Bat. Excuse me. She goes. It's duller than math class. Totally useless. Plang's jaw drops. Yo, that thing is made from legit goblin and cobalt bones. Her eyes go pop. Master crosses his arms. The mats. We're trash. And a smith. First day holding a hammer. Total newbie. You got a student? She asks. He frowns. I tried. But this kid? He's just 2. Insane for a first-timer. It doesn't make sense. He pictures Sayu gripping the tool, smacking that metal like a boss. Master huffs. Never seen anyone polish a turd into a gem like that. And the brat turned me down. Can you believe it? Soon whips around to stare at Sayu wiping. She's thinking, who is this guy? A bit later, Sayu finishes up. Boom. Sleek black spear. Done. He grabs it. System pop-up. God-level metallurgy. Up by 0.4%. He grins, feeling epic. I actually made a weapon. Then panics. Wait, how do I sell this? Soon slides up behind him. Like, you selling that stick? She puts out her hand. Kim Soon, rep for the Soon Company. Nice to meet ya. CU blinks. He knows that name. That company is big league in hunting gear. They're all about trust. She's famous. Soon smirks. Look, we only deal with the gear in Korea. You want to sell? We're buying right now. Sayu pauses, eyes shut. Okay, how much we offer, saying she dropped 1 million won for a single weapon. That's sick. He didn't blink, jumping straight back to the anvil and hammering. A man possessed, churning out gear. Meanwhile, Soon used the loot to lock down a sweet deal with SH Group. Back at the shop, Soon was practically vibrating, screaming about how insane things were. She turned to see why, hyped that they'd officially snagged the SH Group contract. She pointed a finger right at him, yelling that he flipped the script the second they met. The gear quality was god tier, and without him, she would have been totally cooked. Grabbing his hands, she got super serious. If you ever need a favor, just say the word. Seriously, name it, and I'll make it happen. Then she whipped out her phone. Check your bank app, right now. CU checked his screen and froze. 280 million, one just sitting there. Later on, Sayu was chilling in his chair, eyes glued to his phone, staring at those digits. He kept recounting the zeros, convinced he was tripping. Face-bombing. It hit him. He finally had enough cash for a GodTube sub. The second that thought landed, alerts popped up showing 3 legendary channels. Hua, to the myth, Hipok. Sayu did the math fast, subbing to all 3 was 300 million, one a month. He was broke enough to only pick one. Arms crossed, brain overheating. His whole body shook before he buried his face in his hands and screamed. Then, feeling reckless, he just smashed that subscribe button. Cut back to the workshop, where the smith threw his hands up, totally bummed. Nothing we can do, this stuff is too fragile to polish, so keep it low-key. So waltzed in, grinning like an idiot, to say hi. Eyes shut, Paluang sighed. Why are you here again? She shrugged. Here for Manjiwoo. Sayuk stared at her and said, been waiting for you. She turned beet red. Wait, what? He handed her a note, reminding her about that whole I'll get you anything promise. The paper had a huge shopping list. She nodded, scanning the items. Mountain, frankincense, silphium, saxifrage, centriole ginseng, and other pricey herbs. He kept his eyes on her. Is that going to be tough? Sayu asked. I can get M, she said, but the price is hefty. He went catatonic when she dropped the total. 300 million won. I can knock off 20 million for you. Sayu knew he needed this junk to level up his new medical cheats. But getting that kind of loot solo was impossible. He had zero clue where to even look for it. Without her right there, he'd never get his hands on this stuff. He snapped back to reality when she asked if he was buying. Bro just sobbed. Yes. Head rub. She paid 284 million. Refund 280 mil. He keeps for million gone instantly, cause subs are 100 million. Dude needed cash. Like yesterday. We're talking hundreds of millions. Selling gear is too slow. Wait, ... Streaming. Boom. Sayu decided to be a you. Later on the subway, some guy was doom scrolling, bored because nothing cool was on. Then a thumbnail popped. Channel. World Conqueror. Pic looks sus. Supposedly, a hippo strategy guide. Curious. He clicked. Scene, a pond, and amidst hippos, the host in a whack costume. CU unmasked himself and asked, y'all know hippos aren't water horses? Viewer was shook. Brain flatlined. Why is this weirdo cosplaying a hippo? You said these monsters are hippodons here. Hippos? Everywhere else. Obzies, they look exactly like real hippos. He explained peeps usually use the horse symbol, but they ain't horses. Hearing the whole horse thing made the guy actually think. Dropped facts. They're bovine, specifically, added, more science gives y'all headaches. So he stopped the lesson there. Then, grabbed a red cloth. Taming time. Step 1. Tick him off with red fabric. He casually noted cows aren't scared of red, it's just about the hype. Viewer was silent, totally confused. Waved the cloth, screaming for attention. At first, hippos looked over, then saw red and snapped. Their faces just shifted. Suddenly, the herd charged. Didn't run. He baited him closer. Up close, he explained the defeat strut. Step 2. Beat him up and catch him. Got weirder. Is this legit? Tossed the cloth and ran at the herd. He went full-on, crash, dummy mode. Smackin' Hippo 1, screamed. Rice noodles, buckwheat noodles. For the next, then, total magic. Totally code every single chunky beast. He flexed a thumbs up and grilled the chat. 2 E's, right? Video done? But the crash lived, rent-free in his head. Did the smash like sub, and ring that bell, beg. A crazy mob of peeps vibed with the vid dropped. The hunt popped off. 3,628 views, 243 subs, instantly. He was grinning like an idiot, checking stats cause his plan totally worked. But the hype train didn't stop. Soon, 1,243 subs and 127,000 views. Scrolling comments, everyone was raffling. Seemed like the fam really dug his last big brain move. But let's be real, the algo gods just blessed him. Can't stay farming noob mobs forever though. Gotta ride the clout wave while it's peaking. He knew what the fans craved. Kids get bored. Gotta ramp up the crazy to keep him hooked. Going overboard, that's his jam. Figuring out how to cheese bosses was his job. 1 million subs was within reach. Just one snag. Suddenly, major nosebleed alert. Then, total crash mode hit him like a truck. Wobbling, he was like, nah, gotta edit first. Grinding dungeons and deliveries wrecked him. System shut down. He tripped, bonked his head on the table. Then the chair. Out. A&D lights out for sight. Too much grind. Later, he finally First thought, yo, where am I? Oh wait, just my own boring ceiling. Sat up, brain lagging, head pounding. Definitely, passed out. But hey, props to Hercules level buffs. He didn't die. Barely grabbed his nose, mumbling. Gotta edit that vid. Ace checked his phone to see how long he was 4:31 a.m. Dude was out a whole day. Real talk. He'd drop dead before getting rich like this. Time to outsource. He needed an editor. Bad. Later at Cafe Eden, chilling with a drink and scouting peeps. When he typed up the gig, seriously, he didn't expect his inbox to explode like that. Guess flashing big cash really works. It was absolute chaos, like a casting call for the next big pop star. Base pay was $3 million, plus sweet bonuses if the views went viral. Cash talks, obviously. He needed to pick the editor, who'd bring in the serious dough. Checking out one applicant's demo reel, CIU actually gave it a solid thumbs up. The sound effects were on point and hilarious. Way better skills than his own, but it was past 1 o'clock. CU's patience was wearing thinner than wet tissue paper. Where was this dude? All he knew was the name. Park Duo. He'd told the 14th applicant to meet at the cafe at 1 o'clock sharp, and the guy had said yes. Based on the name and vibe, CIU figured he was some old school dude, which was actually perfect. He desperately needed that veteran experience. CIU texted Park, asking his location, but got left on read or, rather, unread. Figured he was sprinting over and couldn't check his phone. He tried to chill, but that didn't last long. Seconds later, he totally lost his cool. CIU banged his fist on the table, muttering about where the heck this jerk was. Just then, the door swung open, and someone rushed in, apologizing breathlessly. A girl awkwardly asked if he was Mr. CIU. She introduced herself as Park Du, the wannabe YouTube editor. Seeing a girl there totally threw him. He'd pictured Park as some grumpy old man. She sat down, apologizing profusely to CIU yet again. He asked why she was late, and seriously, why she ghosted his messages. She explained she'd been grinding on an edit late into the night, then realized she totally forgot to pack her little brother's lunch. Since she rushed out like a maniac, she didn't have a second to check her phone. CIU frowned. What do you mean, editing a video? She said she meant the clip she attached to her application. CIU asked if she really edited his raw footage in just one single day. She corrected him casually, saying that it didn't take a day, just about 3 hours. CIU felt his brain He spent way more time than that on his own cuts. Seeing his face, the girl worried she messed up. CIU turned to her. Terrified she was about to get roasted, she shut her eyes and braced for impact. Instead, Sayu just asked, "So, when can you start?" The girl apologized again, realizing she had completely misread the vi and shouted she could start immediately. Sayu did the math. It usually took him about 8 hours to edit one video. If she only took 3 hours, that efficiency was actually good. He explained that, like the ad said, 2 videos a week was the deal. Sometimes he uploaded 3, and obviously, he'd pay extra for that. Sayu reached out to the girl, who was about to cry, and told her she was officially on the team. Totally over the moon. Girl slammed her head on the table and screamed that she'd work her butt off. Pretty much immediately after that, total panic broke out. The crowd stampeded past, screaming about a dungeon break nearby. Alarms started blaring, signaling a subterranean breach. Class C, threat, evacuate immediately. The speakers blasted. Terrified, Dyoka yelled at her new boss to run for it. But dude just smirked, completely chill. "Didn't you just say you were ready to work? Like right now?" Dyoku froze, brain lagging, and mumbled a sorry. Sayu casually blew a blood clot out of his nose. He turned to her, that goofy grin still plastered on his face. He tossed her his phone. "Let's go. Keep up." "Where are we going?" She panicked. "Guess," he teased. "We're securing the bag, obviously." Dyoku gasped, realizing the plan, but she still sprinted after him. "Start filming," he hollered. "Turn that camera on, ASAP." Suddenly, orcs swarmed the gate, charging straight at them. Sayu screamed, "Large order of rice noodles." Then, he ripped a C-rank orc in half with one hit. Mid-fights he pivoted straight to the camera lens. "Don't forget to like, subscribe, and smash that bell." Wiping green goo off, Sayu thought, finally making real bank. Pro hunters showed up to save the day at the breach site. They started rushing civilians to safety. Whoosh! An orc head sailed right over them, followed by a scream. The hunters froze, totally confused by the scene. Some guy was bare-knuckle boxing orcs while yelling noodle orders. In no time at all, Sayu had wrecked every single monster from that dungeon. He hopped on the corpse pile, fist pump in the sky. "Like, subscribe, and hit notifs," he shouted at the cam. Back home, Dyoka was stuck editing the footage. She couldn't process it. Asterisk, who is this maniac, and why is he famous? The comments section was absolutely roasting the bystanders. Everyone was cracking up at the shocked faces in the background. Fans hyped up the world's conqueror, beating beasts bare. "Sick editing skills too," others commented. Dyoku still didn't get what was happening. One thing was sure, her boss was a YouTube psycho. Facepalming, she wondered if she'd survive this gig. Behind her, the fam was devouring fried chicken. "So good. Save some for you, sis," they called out. They waved her over to join the feast. Suddenly, Lo Sis snatched a drumstick. "Mine." "Yo, you already ate one." Bro snapped back. "Leave that for Dyoku." Watching them bicker was kinda sweet. Dyoku finally smiled, feeling a bit better. She got the memo. Time to grind, mainly cause her lil sibs needed her. Back at the forge, our main guy was hammering away like a total machine. After sweating buckets and giving it 100%, he finally whipped up a sword that didn't suck. He crafted this bad boy using leftover orc bits from the last brawl. Unlike his old trash, this blade was legit something he could actually trust. The SEC, he finished, his got tier crafting stat jumped 1.4%, hitting 4.4. System mocked him, calling the loot decent enough to be a freebie. Sayu wasn't vibing with that. Shade, but he was still hyped. A jump of 1.4% is huge. At this rate, his growth is straight up broken. Kaiman's jaw dropped when she spotted the blade in Siyu's mitts. She hyped him up, saying his gear just keeps getting better. Pwang, do, dude was totally lost. How's a noob who started smithing weeks ago already this cracked? Logic, left the chat. Siyu just laughed. Still a noob. True, he hadn't even unlocked a tenth of the boss skills. Then she turns to him like, "Yo, you gonna sell that?" Siyu's like, "You guessed it, and I bet you know exactly how to flip it." She told him to cough it up and grab the blade. "Leave it to me." Pwang stared in silence, super salty about the whole vibe. Then she noticed. Sayu was looking kinda wrecked. "Today," Siyu asked, "do I really look that beat?" She grinned. "Bro, your eye bags are practically touching your nose." Sayu let out a cringe laugh at that one. She added, "Thought you were a zombie before. Now you look semi-human." No lie, ever since took over the edits, our boy's been catching way more. Still swamped, but at least he's not dying. He paid extra cause of the danger, so he's basically broke for staff. She helped film 2 not her jobs, so he felt kinda guilty about the pay. Still, Sayu had zero beef with her editing skills. She was hustling hard, and he seriously appreciated it. Then, boom, Siyu remembered something he totally blanked on, and asked, "Hey, how's it going with those herbs I ordered?" Kim and clapped, realizing she almost ghosted that request too. She whipped out a bag. "Got everything you wanted? Right here." It was his first request, so she had to deliver. Sayu was shook by her speed. "Okay, That's actually impressive. She reminded him, her squad only deals the best Korean goods. Sayu wasn't sure what that meant, but asked, so, what's the damage? Kim-min checked her phone. Total comes to 212 million. Numbers started spinning in Siyu's brain like a slot machine. 212 million. That's stupid money. Sion caved, saying she'd slash the tag to 200 million, cause it's him. But no freebies next time. Sayu gave a quick thanks, totally appreciating the solid. Later, bro jumped on GodTube to watch what the guy was yapping about how herbal meds are basically purified loot drops from animals, plants, or rocks. Usually, soups, dust, tabs, or pastes. Standard stuff. Watsuo claimed. This particular vid was strictly about the herbs. Explained their natural buffers roots, stems, bark, seeds, the works, even tiny amounts carry the whole mix. So, some finished potions get called herbs too. Meaning, you can't just box the definition into one shape. Hearing all this, Sayu was totally zoned out. He was thinking, what is this dude waffling about? At this rate, becoming a medical god was a pipe dream. Then, the system pinged. Big brain energy gained. Insight stat up by 1.4% to 8.7%. Just watching a vid buffed him. Wild, then it clicked. He had a total epiphany. Stripping the jargon. It's just studying plants to cure buffs and deep. The system immediately dinged. Confirming, he cracked the code. Medical mastery unlocked at 0.4%. CU was low-key shook he actually understood that. But for real, why'd the old guy make it sound so deep? With his stats at 0.4%, Sayu started brewing. He even whipped up a soup the system called a buff. Staring at the sludge, which legit looked like goblin whiz, Sayu wondered if it was even edible. Beneficio could also mean toxic waste, right? Yo-wah, he drank it anyway. Lifted the bowl and chugged the whole thing. Boom. He faced. The fall didn't hurt wasting, that cash did. Those herbs cost a bag. Then his phone buzzed. After chugging the healthy goop, his power spiked by 0.01%. Sayu was floored. Crazy part, it took less than 3 seconds to kick in. He honestly thought about licking the floor. Later, our MC hit up an Erang dungeon. Vampire bats were nasty, eatless mobs. He had a plan. 1. Film a bats equals rats. Vlog. 2. Grind loot for gear. Finally, research the gnarly diseases they carry. Since they swarm in hundreds, they're basically flying virus factories. But get this. The coolest part was these bats were totally immune to sickness. If they carried blood bugs, but didn't catch them, figuring out their secret could help fix my sister's messy blood issues. Not exactly a walk in the park, but with my healing cheats, totally doable. Suddenly, I felt a vibe. Not bats. I hopped up and hid behind a rock. Better to ghost them for now. Peeking out, I saw the intruders. Kang's Lam fan club. Seriously, this made 0 sense. I booked this dungeon solo through the bureau. No guests allowed. Maybe it was a glitch. But Kang's minions wandering in here. Yeah, right? These guys were Sarankers. Why lurk in a baby E+ dungeon? They were definitely headhunting me. Dungeons have 0 Wi-Fi or cell service. So if someone gets deleted in here, nobody finds out. I paused to think, then realized, why bother stressing? Just smack them around, and everything becomes clear. The goons were chatting, tracking my location. Duna swore he saw me walk in with his own eyes. Kim scanned the area. Where's the little twerp? Min suggested, I probably croaked already. Kim laughed. Dude's worse than F-class trash. How'd a noob like that even walk in here with such swag? Whatever, makes our job a cakewalk. Min shrugged. I dunno. Maybe he has a plan. He's gotta be using bug spray on the bats or something. Kim snorted. Please, the kid's got 0 skills. Duna frowned, but that viral video, ... He looked pretty savage in that clip. Not gonna lie, Min rolled his eyes. Deep fakes, bruh, all CGI edits. He gestured at the cave walls. This whole place is probably a movie set. Kim nodded along. Boom, a loud noise hit, and I blurred right past them. I popped up behind Kim. So, where's Kang hiding? Kim froze, shaking in his boots. He didn't even see me move. Actually, don't tell me. I kinda want an excuse to hit you. While I stood there looking bored, Kim freaked out and jumped away. Min yelled, where'd he spawn from? Kim sneered. You wanna fight? Loser, and charged at me. Before he could even get close, I slapped the sword right out of his hand. Another hit, and Boom Ju was sent flying. Ju tried to get up, sobbing like a baby. CIU, 0 hesitation, ready for the beat. He punted Ju right in the skull while he was down. Yuna and Minchil looked totally shook. Minchil cursed him out, but in the next second, he got plastered against the cave wall. Yuno spun around. Jaw on the floor. Realizing they were cooked, Yuna tried a deal. Drop the sword, spill the tea. Just don't kill him. Sayu didn't care. He just kept walking forward. Yuna begged again, but Sayu was like, I don't trust guys who still have all their limbs working. After the beating, Ciu turned to Yuna, grilling him on whether Duchul ordered this mess. Yuna whispered a shaky yes. Ciu asked if he wanted a gold star for not lying. Yuna looked up with his messed up face, begging, "Please, no, I'm serious." Ciu asked why the guy did this and why he was obsessed. Una swore he had zero clue. Ciu made a fist. Looking annoyed, Yuna panicked, screaming he really didn't know. Ciu then asked where Dochua was, then he was like, actually, never mind. He told Yuna to grab his buddies and get lost. Yuna was stunned. Did Ciu actually let him go? Ciu clarified, "You're not dead yet." Ciu gave Yuna a message for Dosu, saying next time, he's getting the exact same treatment. He grabbed Yuna's face to make sure the message stuck. Later, the limping trio stood before Kangdo. Dochil was totally speechless seeing them. Right then, Ciu popped up between Yuna, Minchio saying it's been ages since he saw Dude, like a month, asking if he's been eating okay. Ju tried to tell the boss it was all a big mistake. Minseal chimed in, saying Ciu made them do it. Totally unfair. Ciu hugged Yuna like a buddy, praising his plan to lure Doshil out. Yuna threw up his hands, yelling he was framed. Ciu told him, granting your wish to kill that jerk Doshil. Yuna wriggled free and booked it. Minseal and Ju ran too, saying, "Sorry boss." As they fled, Ciu turned to "Looks like you're solo now," he said. "Should have been nicer to your minions," wondering how bad he was if they wanted him dead. Dochil couldn't get how an E-rank like Ciu was, so Ciu wasn't totally sure, but the timing was legit perfect. He was like, "Yo, why'd you treat me like trash?" Doyle scoffed, "Like I owe you an answer?" "You don't have to," Ciu smirked. Then, bam! Ciu lunged. Doyle barely blocked it. Can't trust a guy with working limbs, I guess. This fight made Ciu realize just how wild things had gotten. Doyle, Mr. Barank. Ciu ducked it. Even Doyle admitted that was slick. Ciu hopped back for some space. "Dude's faster than I thought," Ciu thought. Doyle's nasty vibes gave him chills. One punch could break a sword, but block it? Nah. Doyle charged in. Full aggro. Fast attacks. But basic? Totally dodged. Ciu got low, dodged, and socked his gut. Flashback. Ciu editing Doyle's vid. He was a total slave back then. Treated like dirt. He'd filmed Doyle and watched it a million times. While cutting clips, he'd memorized every single bad habit. Insight up 0.5%, now 9.2. Doyle blocked the punch. Stalemate, again. Doyle tried a huge overhead smash, but Ciu sidestepped like he had cheat codes. Doyle panicked. Is this kid reading my mind? Nah, no way, he figured. I'm Barank, he's just some F-rank scrub. Mind reading is S-rank stuff anyway. Ciu saw an opening and decked him in the face. Doyle flew back, stabbing the ground to break. He still slid back though. Doyle was shaking. This wasn't real. YouTube showed one thing. Reality was way worse. Doyle powered up, energy flaring, face twisted. He swore to kill Ciu right there. Ciu was like chill, but Doyle was too far gone. Doyle was all in. Ciu had to be too. Ciu felt his muscles ripping apart. Going full power meant running out of time. Screw it. He launched forward like a rocket. Doyle barely saw Ciu appear in his face. Then boom. Massive explosion everywhere. The inspection squad rolled up to the wreck site way sooner than expected. Boss Lady barked orders to lock the zone down and told her minions to hunt for anyone still breathing. Agents stomped forward, shouting and poking through the rubble. Dust settles, and boom, there's a dude just chilling with a sword. The commander asks his name while he's literally using the beaten bad guy as a footrest. Ciu was like, "Yeah, that's me." She flashed her Badgely Min Jung, big shot from the 4th Guard unit. She told him to hop in for a ride to the station. Back at HQ, Jung's like, "So, let me get this straight. Kang actually tried to flatline you." "Yep," Ciu says. "Sent you the video proof already, didn't I?" Jung nodded, admitting she had totally watched and verified the footage. Heavy stuff? Sure. But Ciu's file listed him as some basic, featureless, Rhonda. These guards are basically the cops. For hunters, but honestly, they just hunt down the ones who go psycho killer. Ciu knew squad leaders are usually around, and this lady's vibe, straight up assassin energy. Ciu asks, "So, does a traits rank match the hunter's rank, or what?" Jung just smirked, mentioning she knew he was barely correct, Ciu replied. Before she could go on, Ciu cut in. "Why the quiz? I'm the victim here, remember?" Jung instantly apologized. "My bad. Occupational hazard. I suspect literally everyone. Given the clips from the Arachne dungeon and that site, we'll handle the mess." Jung said Kang was toast and suggested wrapping up the interrogation right there. She thanked him. The kid opened the door, saying, "Cool, all yours then." Seconds after Ciu bailed, the door swung open again. A guard walked in, looking shook that the boss was still sitting there. Figured since the kid left, she'd be gone to. Jung muttered that the whole thing was weird. Swa blinked him. Sorry. Come again. Then Jung asks, Hey Swa, what's your rank again? Caught off guard, she stammers. Just hit Baranka, ma'am. Suddenly, the air in the room got crazy heavy. Swa couldn't take it and crumpled to the floor. Shaken and confused, she stared up at her boss. Jung nodded, just as I thought. You can't handle the pressure. Well, Swa thought, the boss is a monster, not a normal guard. Looking confused, Jung whispered. But that kid, he didn't flinch at all. Swa's jaw basically hit the floor. How's a scrub E+ pulling that off? Totally sus. Jung nodded along. Yeah, definitely a glitch. Swa raged. Why'd you let him dip? Smurfs are real. You know, Moon shut her down. Chill. Dude smells human, not creepy. Solo again, Swa just thought, total cap. Meanwhile, Sayu ghosted home. He was pretty hyped about the W, but Loki panicked about the next disaster. If his tube blows up, the mobs are gonna come knocking. Aran Evadoshal was a sweaty boss fight. If he hadn't stalked Dole's place and used his S+ hacks, he'd be dead content. Thinking about the grind. One thing annoyed him. His double S skill. It's totally brick. Why is it hard stuck at 1%? Lagging. System was like GZ. You want a session with Herc. Prize for 1 sub. That's actually goofy. Peeping. Herc's channel. Saw you gagged. Still 1 sub. Oof. Okay. The loot box gotta be tier 1. Herc was absolutely shook too. Saw 1 sub and thought, oh, a mortal fan. But a human watching? Weird Sayu asked. So? We doomed. Herc goes, nah, not exactly. But if this keeps up, no IRL training for you. See you panicked. So I get zilch, scam, Herc explained. Chill, I just can't spawn there. Face to face is a no. Got Sayu wondering how he even logged into got. Remembering that blonde phone guy, the white-haired dude he fought. Herc yelled, can't fix your form IRL, but I can still coach you. Don't sweat it, kid. Herc scanned him via cam. Yo, balance is cracked. Nice. Back. Sayu blinked, just the back. Herc sighed big time, explaining, Wreck means the whole rear chain. Not just one part. It's literally your body armor. Name drop traps, triceps, and ... brought you whatever. Sayu was shook. That's way too many muscles. Mastered the flex, and his strength finally ticked to 1.02%. Herc said backs are complex, and cause you can't see people ghosts. Leg up, he stressed. These are key. Stomping the dirt, he dropped some wisdom. Legs keep you from faceplanting during power moves. Sayu was shook. What did he just see? Herc grilled him. You catch that vibe? Said it's his OG move, divine martial arts. Sayu was totally lost in the sauce. Just a remix of all his combat hacks. Nothing wild. The exact bonk that one shot at the Hydra's head. Anyway, Big H. Hyped up back gains and leg days as the he told Sayu to imagine support beams snapping mid. Sayu knew the whole thing would yeet itself. Same logic, bro, he said, stomping again. Sayu realized if he skipped leg day, he'd crumble fast. Herc promised a custom workout just for his sub, telling him to copy the moves. Exactly. Later, Herc said, breathe out when you launch. See, thought that sounded sus, cause it was too normal. Then Herc raged that he didn't give a rip. About deets, just blow air out. Dead tired Sayu was like, why though? Herc roasted him. Check yourself. Small, fry, less yappin', more action. While grinding, system notif spammed. Exercise done. So is it? Stats buffed up to 1.47%. He DM'd his editor. New vid droppings. He dumped the whole edit on her. She thought he was chill, just kinda cringe. Giggling, she guessed what crazy strut he cooked up. She hit play on the raw footage near the dungeon. Sayu was rocking a batsuit, greeting the fam. Behind him, legit vampire bats were chilling in the cave. Before the chat could ask, he spilled the tea. Just dropping fresh content for the channel. Straight up speedrun raid, nothing deep. Daku started the edit there, spamming S. But seriously, why vampire bats? Dark caves plus mob spam equals nightmare filming. Then again, this vibe was total clickbait gold. Sayu grabbed his phone. Yo guys, did some digging and found out the current dungeon speedrun record is 58 seconds, held by the fire, which, you Hanoi. He smirked, and guess what? I'm gonna smash that record today. Conqueror channel, vampire bat speedrun, let's get it. Diakus, throw a timer on the screen. Then she paused. Wait, what's he doing? Sayu struck a weird pose. Diaku squinted. Asterisk, is he doing yoga or something? Banquet challenge. Start. CO yelled, slamming his leg down hard. Boom. S's foot hit the floor. A crazy loud rumble shook the whole place, kicking up a massive dust storm. Diaku's jaw hit the floor. No way. Did she just see that? Did he seriously just flatten the entire dungeon? Is that even legal? I forgot to loot the ingredients. Whatever? The raid was toast. Anyway, Dyaku shivered, terrified. What was that monster move? But hey, he pays the bills. CU checked his phone and grinned like an idiot. Stats were popping off. 1.4 million views and 6,810 subs. And the counter was still spinning like crazy. Even crazier. You Hanoi herself, Ms. 41 million subs? Dropped a comment? She definitely panicked when I stole her crown. Nothing screams shook like rushing to comment on the new King's vid. Just having to fire which in the chat was huge clout. A collab, that'd be an easy million eyeballs. Guaranteed. Chill Sayu, gotta stay spicy to keep the hype train rolling. He checked his build. Superpower level, 2.01%. Thanks to Herc's training, the stubborn stat finally cracked 2%. Only 2%, and he just nuked a bat dungeon. Why? If it goes up, maybe he can nag Herc into teaching him the god tier moves. Later, Sayu asked. Hercules was like, nope, not happening. Come on, bro, teach me. Sayu begged. Herc shut him down again, but I won the bet. Sayu argued. Herc sighed. Kid, you're mixing up apples and oranges. Huh, Sayu blinked. So Hercules broke it down. Private training isn't divine arts class. Totally different deal. Plus, for a noodle like you, we gotta focus on gains first. My arts are for gods. Without max power, you'd just explode. But I'm already using superpowers. Sayu shot back. Hercules froze. Wait, for real? The hologram got huge. You're actually using it. Yeah, that's why I hired you for training. Listen, Herc grunted. Personal training meant gym double quotes, ... Not handing over my secret god moves. Sayu was shook and was like, bro, I literally studied your moves. Herc was all, no shot. That's impossible. Sayu started questioning reality is learning god stats. On GodTube normal, or was his info totally bogus? Haul up a sec. Herc interrupted. Then bam, Herc flexed his magic to pop a hologram. Herc gagged at the sight, grabbed Sayu, and yelled, huh? You got god tier hacks just by like, for everyone on god? Sayu shrugged, admitting, yeah, pretty much kinda wild, right? Wild? It's bonkers. Herc screamed, snagging god powers via a sub button. Total cap. Works for me though. Herc shooshed him. Zip it. Something sus. The real tea is how you even got on god. You're a total normie. Zero divinity. Yet somehow, you stumbled onto this goldmine. Hearing Cuy's spiel, Herc thought back to those two creeps. Cuy met, thinking about it. Yeah, definitely, GodTube, folks. Sayu asked. Wait, can they just hop dimensions? You said you couldn't. Herc was like, nah, dimensions stay in their own lanes. Wait, didn't you say your account has manager per? If so, one of those dudes had to be an admin. You know the admins, Sayu asked. Barely. Herc admitted. Still, a manager login shouldn't give you cheat codes like that. Cuy raised an eyebrow. You sure about that? Duh, if it was that easy, every mod would be a universe boss. But somehow, you actually snagged the powers. Sayu gave a nervous grin. Train me. Heart pass, Herc said. Why? Come on. Sayu went. Too much. Drag Herc groaned. But I already got the powers. Totally different vibe. Kid, just coaching you is already a massive headache. No way I'm teaching you. God food to. Since Herc was being stubborn, Sayu tried one last angle. So, ... What do subs actually do on GodTube? Herc paused, confused. Think of subs as pure clout power. So more subs equals more god. Sayu guessed. He didn't totally get the mechanics, but he knew big numbers meant big wins. That's why Herc kept training him, even though he hated it. Besides gains, Herc only cared about his sub count. Lightbulb moment. Cuy pitched a deal. I get you 100 subs. You teach me the cool moves. Deal? Herc was baffled. How's Sayu gonna pull that off? He can't even touch him. Leaning right into Herc's tiny face. Cuy's like, bro, trust me. And shoots him a thumb. Hits 34,204 subs, 120. Herc popped back, bowed low, and was like, yes, master. He swore he'd be Cuy's ride or die servant forever. Sayu swore he'd keep bringing fire vid ideas, which totally hyped Herc up. Cuy's like, now, teach me those god tier moves. Kneeling Herc was like, dare I say no? Cuy asked what subs mean. Herc said, it's pure trust. Fam, god status runs on cloud. The more peeps who know ya, the buffer you get. Blah blah blah. Sayu's just got that the system was super cringe complex. God mode grows with subs. He was still pretty lost, TB. Anyway, Herc promised to teach those epic moves ASAP. Sayu told him to chill his voice first. Herc agreed. Let's get it started. Step 1 ain't muscles. It's training your brain gains. Instead of yapping, Herc just showed him. Boom. Cuy's head started pounding. Like, it'd explode cause Herc punched the air. Sayu was shook. He couldn't see Herc move, not even a blur. Major pressure crushed him down. System ping. Herc's God. Moves unlocked. Skill spiked 1.1% to 3.61%. Sayu gasped. It used to barely go up 0.1. Now, over 1% in a sec. SSS rank, baby. Herc warned he wasn't ready for the smoke. Sayu's soul is too weak. Using God moves now would fry his brain. Gotta get those brain gains first. Basically, brain muscles equal the soul level. Weak mind means no go. Can't master it. Sayu's like, Kuda said that sooner. Herc's like, my bad, I don't talk much. Sayu cut in. Can I still learn it though? Herc said normally, nah. But for some, maybe. Sayu was like, huh. Herc reminded him he can get God powers. Sayu clicked. If he grabs a mental God's power to buff Herc's strength, he needs Jesus, Buddha, or Confucius. Herc said, check Confucius's channel. Means hitting subscribe and paying the fee. Wallet check, just 153 million. Watu's sub was 100 million plus 1 billion monthly. This whole situation was a total clown fiesta. Zero profit. Sayu wasn't vibing with the choices. Was this really the play? Suddenly, Kimmin burst into the forge and waved a hand to signal she was back in the game. She tossed Sayu the item he was thirsting for. Price, he blurted. Before, she said it would be 1 million won, but now Kimmin smirked. That'll be one. Coughing up the 113 million, the boy sobbed dramatically. Kimmin chirped a polite thanks. Sayu's balance tanked to 40 million. Kimmin then asked what Sayu planned to do with the ogre loot. He explained he was going to craft some sick gear this time. The ogre was a plus rank, meaning he was too much of a noob to solo it. But to learn epic skills, he needed a cool 1 billion won. That meant crafting Heicher stuff from Heicher mats to sell. Through this grind, he'd also rack up XP so he could eventually forge his own op equipment. Realizing how far away that was, Sayu cried again. Being broke sucks. Still, he decided to get straight to work. Entering the forge, Po Guang felt the heat and heard the hammer banging. He walked up to Kimmin. Yo, what brings you down here? Kimmin was too shook by the sight to even reply. Po Guang looked at Sayu and froze, jaw hitting the floor. Sayu finished the gear and grinned as it sparkled. System, alert, disposable, item made. Metallurgy skill up 5% to 10.43%. All that sweat for a disposable item. Major bummer. The second he stopped, Po Guang and Kim sprinted over, hyped and asking how he pulled that off. Sayu just asked, how much can I sell this for? She blinked. She wondered if he was actually serious about selling it. This gear was way too pricey for their usual broke customers. Hearing that, Sayu felt totally defeated. Why craft the gloves if nobody can buy them? Pointless. Still, he told her to chill and just sell them for him anyway, reminding her that they were just disposable trash. Kimmin gagged at him, calling such gaudier gloves disposable. But since Sayu insisted, she promised to do her best. I got this. She turned to Po. Can I use your name for hype? Kimmin explained she was going to put the gloves up for auction. Later, at the auction house, the announcer grabbed the mic. Next up, gear that even Master Po Guang is simping for. The crowd started buzzing immediately, since everyone knew Po Guang was the legendary smith recognized by the guy ripped the cloth off. Boom. High-quality gloves. He shouted that they were made from ogre tendons, making totally indestructible. Worrying about gear breaking is for new. Don't freak out, but yeah, this is a rank monster loot. Appraisal says, these bad boys buff your stats big time. Instantly, the whole room starts whispering like crazy. Everyone thought, whoa, Aurelian level magic gear. The MC laughed awkwardly. Chill, guys, no magic here. Just a raw +5 stat boost. Still sweet. Definitely cracked for a support slot item though. Seeing the hype train leaving the station, the auctioneer knew stalling equals riot, so she started the bidding. We kicked things off at 10 million with minimum jumps of 5 million. Chat went wild. 10, 15, 20, 25 million. Sweaty tryhards pushed it to 50 million in seconds. She screams. Min raises 10 million now, folks, like it was chump change. 60, 80, 100 million. New rule, 50 million jumps or go home. Zero chill. Price eated straight to 250 million. Blink, and it hit 300. Milia, the room went dead silent. She looks around. Any other whales want to play? Honor yells, 2 billion. Everyone's shook. She's trembling. Did he say to billion? Instantly, 2.1 billion. It's Li Min Jiang. Everyone's like, yo, that's the butcher. Honor flexes again. 3 billion. Li's raging. 3.1 billion. She snaps. Honor drops 4 billion. Countdown starts. Sold 4 billion for the gloves. Han Sharan got the dub. Looks super smug. Back at the shop, Sayu's literally vibrating. Kaiman's jaw is on the floor. Totally floored. Who pays that much for gloves? Sayu banked 3,600,000,000. Insane money. Top bid was 4 billion. After the house cut, a wild 3.6 billion hit his wallet. CU goes full hype beast, hugs Kimin screaming. Kaiman's like, chill bro, I can't breathe. CU panicked and let go fast. She gasps. He's like, my bad, too hyped. Sayu wants to tip her big for the help. She nopes out. You paid me already, weirdo. Plus, thanks to him, Sean's biz snagged VIP status at the auction house. That perk alone was totally worth it for her. CU tried to lend CU a hand, but the guy shut him down cold. He was like, nah, you did all the heavy lifting while I just chilled. So SIU decided to teach Pound that Allegro beat he'd picked up from a Jesus video recently. He even threw in a 4-beat rhythm that seemed perfect for him. Then came the main event. SIU grabbed his phone and smashed subscribe on the Confucius channel, blowing 1 billion won. He had to do it. You can't learn God-tier martial arts without paying the toll. No time to be a cheapskate. Now, still, that price tag was absolutely insane. Poor dude almost cried looking at the receipt, knowing his wallet just got murdered. Later, Swa nervously asked if the restaurant was too bougie, saying they could just bail. Sayu told her to chill. You gotta experience the high life at least once, right? It was 600 grand ahead, but he didn't care. Even after that splurge, he still had over 2.6 billion in the bank. Between Webtoon and Confucius, he was burning 1.1 billion a month on subscriptions alone. Needing a distraction, Sayu grabbed a drink and fired up GodTube while waiting for grub. Meanwhile, Soa was rubbernecking, totally amazed by her first fancy dining trip. Sayu clicked the Confucius channel and skimmed the bio. It said the guy was slow to speak but quick to act, boasting 34,000 subscribers. Sayu figured that was huge, wondering if every single disciple hit that follow button. He realized GodTube probably had its own little school clicks going on. Herc had mentioned earlier that divine arts need serious brain power. Sayu pegged this as SSS rank stuff. Non-combat SSS meant it was even wilder than fighting skills. To level up his game, he'd have to glue his eyes to the screen and actually understand this mess. He clicked the first vid. The dignity of a gentleman. Confucius was just vibing in a garden, explaining that a real gentleman protects his crew. Watching it, Sayu instantly felt a certain emotion. Pure, unadulterated boredom. Still, he absorbed the basics. His SSS rank gentleman, stats benevolence, and all that jazz. Ticked up a bit, Hercules pointed out that CU only downloaded a chunk of Confucius's brain, not the whole drive. Sayu admitted this, and agreed that he was still a total noob at this. Herc explained that Sayu wasn't ready to bust out divine arts just yet. Basically, it's like hacking the universe's code, not just firing a laser beam. To actually use this god-tier stuff, Sayu would have channeling magic juice by squeezing every vein tight. Mana was literally the universe's main vibe. To hack it, he needed a turbocharger organ to blast intention. Eastern gods call this the key sweet spot. Sayu's face screamed, bore me to death. Why don't ya? Bam! A bright light exploded from the screen, making Sayu jump out of his skin. Herc booped his noggin. You want the epic skill and god-tier strength, but snooze through the nerd stuff. Am I lying? Bro, Herc asked. Sayu tried to cap, but failed. Okay, you got me. Figured as much, Herc grinned, dropping a cheat code for mastering the godly arts. The secret sauce, you guessed, ig. Sayu face-bombed. Why is it always about getting noodle arms, mean a noodle brain, Herc preached. Sayu opened his mouth to argue. Cut in, get jacked, and your brain just downloads the info. Herc flexed, let the pecs do the thinking. Told SCU to let his muscles handle the homework. CU just stared, totally lost for words. Cut to SH Group HQ. Big boss. Hunton asked his grandkid about her new loot. Sharon nodded. Yeah, and it's totally sick. Heard it costs 4 billion won, Gramps noted. Not Aurelian tier, but the stats are insane. Just equipping one item buffed my power like crazy. The chairman smirked, liking the sound of that. Holler, if you need more upgrades. Sharon bowed. Thanks, Gramps. Let's roll. His face hardened. Time to hit that S-rank dungeon. Back to our hero floored and wrecked by Herc's workout. CU knew he was light years away from God mode. He checked his phone stats. Big sad. The worst part? His level was stuck unfrozen. Someone asked Confucius how to dodge an L in a hopeless fight. The sage was like, easy. Just never hit the surrender button. Herc was just a dude once, but he outbenched gods. Bet he grinded, failed, and raged too. This holy kung fu wasn't just throwing hands. It was OP enough to make you doubt if humans could even wield it. CU knew he had zero natural talent, so the grind was his only option. He struck a pose, spamming Hercules punches. Wind blasted everywhere. He felt pumped. His good guy stats kindness, justice, and smartros 0.5%. CU blinked open, totally shook by the view. He'd nailed the god, art, and trashed the park. He chuckled. Oops, need a private gym. Stat. Meanwhile, Doug sighed at another text from the boss. Looked like another vampire bat vid. Boring. Fire which stole first place. 11 seconds. Totally insane run. With the fight ending instantly. Blink and miss it. Still, Sayu posted a copycat. Diaku, hit play. Sayu popped up in a witch cosplay. Sup guys? Claimed he's the world conqueror again. Cringe. Staring right at the cam, he mentioned the new record on Firewitch's channel. 11 seconds. Voila. So he announced he's gonna crush Yu Honghan's record and show us how. Diako kept watching, jaw dropping lower. Classic reckless Sayu was back at it. He explained why he's targeting Miss Yuan. Direct attacks meant getting roasted online. He needed so here's the strat. How to beat Miss Yuan? The champ. Enough yapping, let's go. He yelled. Sayu lifted his leg and stomped hard. Crack, the lens broke. Video cut out? Dayu sat there, totally stunned. She double-checked wait, 2 videos. Opened the second file. Mind blown again. When he stomped, the gate warped, cam fell, cracks exploded out, destroying the whole dungeon. Diaku couldn't even speak. Brain lagging, couldn't process it. Shaking? She saw the time. 4 seconds. Soon, 350k views and 11k subs. Thanks to those divine martial arts, his numbers blew up, making millions of totally doable now. Scrolling comments, one caught his eye. Some Rondo posted that this power level could totally steamroll the dungeon where Han Sharon fled. Sayu blinked. Seriously. He tapped the thread and saw everyone freaking out in the replies. Figured it was just fake news at first. Then someone linked receipts, claiming it was all over the web. Sayu froze. If true, the SH group was gonna get wrecked for botching an S-rank raid. Around 1 o'clock, the bombshell dropped. SH Guild's boss, Han Sharon, totally face-planted an S-rank raid. Nobody died, thankfully, but the internet was super salty about it. SH group was basically on fire, since they dumped tons of cash into hunting, hoping to go big time. Well, rip to those dreams. Stocks tanked hard. Sayu dug for info, but nobody knew how Sharon actually messed up. After scrolling through the drama, he realized this had zero to do with him. Yeeted his phone onto the bed. Ain't got time to stress over her drama. She can clean up her own mess. He's got his own grind to worry about. Top floor at SHHQ. Sharon walked in and got told she had a visitor. She said hi to director Han Mina. Mina was like, long time, no see? How's it going? Smiling softly, she told Sharon to look at her. Asking if she just got back from seeing the big boss? Sharon nodded, asking if her aunt visited him too. Mina said the chairman dragged all the execs in. The whole group was basically a dumpster fire right now. Stocks were crashing, and investors were bailing fast. Mina insisted it wasn't just Sharon's bad. Honestly, the suits were at fault for hyping her up too much. Leaving Mina told Sharon to bounce too, or else she'd get stuck dealing with her brothers. Mina left, leaving Sharon alone in the hall, zoning out. Later, SOA gulped down CU's fresh. Bruin almost get. CU grinned awkwardly. Bitterness means it's working. Still, CIU was stoked too. C is S plus Divine Medical Arts, leveling up, hitting 20.47%. At least this batch tasted less like poison. Since learning Gentleman's Mind, all of CU's stats were martial arts, strength, insight, smithing everything was leveling easier. Insight grew the most, hitting 24.8% 8% jump, cause it links to everything else. Sayu realized there's a reason Gentleman's Mind is ranked tri. Once Sarah finished the drink, she already looked way healthier. Proof that his meds actually worked. He was totally if he kept leveling up his divine healing game, Kirin SOA would be a literal breeze. But Bakash, the minimum 1.1 billion fee was a total buzz. The 1.7 billion in his account was peanuts compared to the monthly sub cost. CUI'd his potion. Man, selling this would be easy money. Too bad peddling meds without a license is illegal. I'll nag Kimian about the legal stuff later, he decided. Knock knock. Weird he wasn't expecting any guests. Who's disturbing my peace? Sayu wondered. Guy outside was like, so sorry. Is Mr. Mung Sayu here? It was Kang Min, Miss Honoran's personal assistant. Sayu let him in. She wants to rerun the S-rank dungeon. Hearing that, Sharon was going back in. Sayu knew she needed his skills. Does she need a raid strat? He asked, cutting to the chase. The secretary nodded. Spot on. So, what flopped during the first run? CU asked. Kang shrugged. Sorry dude, I'm clueless on the deets. I was just told getting your help is super critical. She wanted to come, but the paparazzi are everywhere. He bowed like a butler and asked if Sayu would chat. Suddenly, Sayu felt it. The scent of cash hit his brain, thinking a collaborate in an S-rank dungeon would get millions of YouTube views. Later, at the SHQ gym, Sayu rolled up and saw Han Sharon training. She was rocking the custom gloves he made, totally zoned in. She didn't even see them walk in. The assistant went to grab her, But Sayu was like, nah, hold up. Sayu saw she was in a total flow state. That deep focus is huge. XP he knew the feeling. The secretary tried to but Sayu stopped him. Let her cook. It's rare. She kept grinding, oblivious to the world. Watching her, Sai realized her form was kinda messy. His Espa stats and cheat skills made it obvious. To his eyes, she was basically just flailing her arms around. Rumor was she never actually learned how to fight. She had S-rank talent, but her style was super raw. Like someone with double rank powers but zero clue how to actually use them. If Sharon actually learned legit moves, she'd be totally OP. Her best bet for leveling up. Joining a sect like a kung fu movie hero. But let's be real, zero chance of that happening. Shroop would flip out. Their golden girl can't just ditch the fam for a rich kid problems. Am I right? Being elite actually kinda sucks. Watching her struggle, Sayu wondered if she could even handle the crazy skills from GodTube without crashing and burning. He mentally scrolled through channels. King Arthur swinging Excalibur. Classic. Then there's Siegfried, the OG Dragon Slayer dropping tutorials on how to wreck lizard scales. Or Xiangyu, looking scary with that whole army crushing vibe. Their content is extreme, but imagine Sharon unleashing that chaos. Huge snag in the plan, though she's blocked from no stream, no skills. Then, bingo, Siyu's brain finally worked. He watches the vids himself, then coaches her eye. RL Genius Play, subs cost a fortune, but he'll just bill her daddy. Easy money. 1 billion, 10 billion, pocket change for the SH princess. Sayu practically drooled imagining the payday. Choche. With her bank account, this was the ultimate cash grab. One tiny issue. Why would an S-rank pro listen to a D-rank scrub like him? Plus, he can only teach what he's actually mastered himself. Which brings up a super awkward question. Can you even regift god-tier skills like a bad sweater? Whatever? Giving up now is for losers. Sharon wrapped up her workout and grilled the ... Secretary Light. Why didn't you say Sayu was here? The secretary panicked. Sorry, he told me to hush. Said not to mess up your flow, miss. She blinked, surprised. He stared, face turning tomato red. Frozen. Turning pink herself, she stammered that she'd ... go shower first. Sayu watched her leave thinking, wow, she's a total knockout. Once things chilled out a bit, Sharon was like, so sorry to keep you waiting. No, Biggie. Sayu shrugged. Heard you needed a hand with something, so, spill the tea. What went down in that dungeon? She leaned in close. Dude, the place was empty. Zero mobs. Sayu froze. Wait, empty. Until one thing showed up. Right? From how she described it. Sounds like just one boss, wrecking the place. It looked like a wolf. She shivered, but wait, not normal. Never seen a glitch like that in my life. Sayu racked his brain hard. Wolves are common, sure, but in an S-rank dungeon, unheard of. She started shaking. I was totally helpless. Sayu, completely useless. With that S-rank rating and her applause? Stats. She shouldn't be talking like a noob. Sayu was like, you really can't handle it. She nodded. He knew Sharon didn't go in there alone. She rolled up with a squad of geared-up elites. And they still got crushed. Epic fail. Totally out of their league. Sayu did the mental math. Just one monster in there, and that single beast scared off the great Han Sharon. Rank is about total mana. Usually a crowd thing. But sometimes, in super rare glitches, a dungeon revolves around one solo guy. It's a mutation. A capo monster. A kappa hogs every drop of mana in the dungeon. If her team met that, getting wrecked makes sense. A capo is scary, but an S game over. Sayu explained his capo theory to them. Sharon was she'd never heard of that before. Sayu said bailing on the dungeon was the smart play. Why challenge it again? Dying for loot isn't worth it, you know? But Sharon refused to quit. Why though? Sayu asked. She said it wasn't just about her. Sayu clicked. Her failed raid made the SH group crash hard. He heard hundreds of billions of won vanished instantly. To stop the stock prices from tanking further, Sharon had to fix this mess. She needs a speedrun. Clear on that dungeon. Dangerous. Yeah. But for trillions of won, worth it. That unknown S-class boss is gonna be a nightmare. Sayu said he got it, but he had a condition. He grinned, hand out. Let me film it for YouTube. Sharon was totally thrown off by that. Then Sayu added, and 10 billion won, final offer. Boom. He got a 1 billion won advance fast. Seeing the cash, he felt lucky. Should have asked for more? Still, crazy that she agreed so is whatever. Can't be greedy. 10 billion is a fortune. Now he had to focus on the real issue. That unseen Sayu wasn't sure he could even plan for this. Asking for cash adds pressure, but his insight hit 24%. That means he can analyze this beast. Sayu hyped himself up. He can totally do this.